What's up, YouTube? Troy West here. This is episode 262 of the Solid Sports Video Blog. Today's date is March 21st, 2024. Thank you so much for watching. A little different today. We're not live, but you're probably watching the premiere right now. I set it for 12 noon. It might be a little over that. I know it takes a while for the videos to be cleared by YouTube, but I thank you guys so much for joining me. Not gonna be a long video. I'm not home, so I left my notes home and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna try to freelance this episode this week. But then I'm not sure if I'm gonna get on next week. I have to let you guys know I work all next week. My schedule's busy for work, so I'll try to fit something there. I want to do a MLB preview video. Might not do that this year, or maybe it might be just a little later when the season starts. But I try to put together who I think will win all the divisions and everything. But speaking of divisions, we're gonna look at the National League West. A game just ended over in Seoul, Korea. Dodgers just beat the Padres 5-2. So speaking of that division, we'll talk about those two teams in a second, and a little bit about that game. Also, we're gonna look at the NBA landscape. Going to talk a little bit about Anthony Edwards. He's been a little buzzing a little bit lately. T-Wolves had a tough loss last night to the Nuggets, but Anthony Edwards has been carrying the Wolves. No Gobert, he was out last night, and no Karl Anthony Towns until playoff time. So congratulations to him and what he been doing for the Wolves. I'm just going to talk about it because they compared him to Michael Jordan. So I already said little things about it before, but I'll give you my thoughts again. Look at the standings as of right now. While I was trying to remember the standings. And the NFL, of course, the big trade finally happened. Justin Fields traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll give my thoughts on that. So now they have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in their quarterback stable. I'll give you my thoughts on that. We're going to start looking at the NFL. The draft is in about a month. So where's the NFL news will start picking up again, just like it did when free agency started. I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts on the NCAA Tournament as well. Haven't followed college basketball that much this year, but it's always a great time of the year. So we'll take a look at that a little bit as well before we get out of here. But I'm not going to be long today. I'm saying max 30 minutes because, like I said, I don't have my notes. So I meant to bring my notes with me, but I didn't. And just wasn't sure how things was going to be today. So, but anyway, let's just first let's talk about the game that it's a regular season game. Of course, it's a weird thing baseball do now. They call it the International Series, Seoul, Korea. Dodgers and Padres, of course. Dodgers with international players, Tony and the new Korean pitcher they just got signed. The Yu Darvish, who started the day for the Padres. So they got some players that would draw that crowd over there. But the Dodgers, I was following the game. I didn't watch the game. I was following it here and there. I wanted to wait till the game was finals before I gave my comments on it. Padres was holding the Dodgers down until the 8th inning. Padres exploded for 4 runs in the 8th, went up 5-2, and that's the final now. Padres was considered the home team, so the Padres did get a last at bat, but couldn't do anything. So the Dodgers win it 5-2. Let's just transition into the AL West. Let's talk about the Dodgers first. Of course, other than the COVID year when they broke through and won the World Series, Dodgers has been knocking on the door, having disappointing after disappointing postseasons, including last year, which I think they lost to Arizona, right? I think Arizona was the one that took them out. Got away all the way to the World Series. So we're going to talk about the Diamondbacks as well. They in this division. This is a very interesting, deep division as well. I expect the Dodgers, as always, probably win this division by 10 games or more. Probably win 100 games again, but it's going to depend on what they do in the postseason. Tony definitely does help. They got a deep lineup. Freddie Freeman, of course, I'm a big fan of his. He used to play for the Atlanta Braves. Mookie Betts, But also, them three right there will stabilize that lineup, and then the other players, like Gavin Lux and um, um, Mountsy, they just got a deep lineup, so they're gonna be tough every day to pitch against. Mr. Tony not gonna pitch this year. Of course, they already announced that, so he could just be playing the outfield, probably DH most of the time this season. So, um, but it's hard. I get my predictions. Like I said, I probably just wind up posting them here and online. I probably don't do a show, but I think the Dodgers definitely gonna be right there again. I definitely think they're gonna win this division. I don't think that should be a surprise to nobody. But other teams in the division are pretty good, so you got to be worried of that. Let's talk about the Padres, since now they already down a game, but they had a disappointing season. Period. Finished under 500. Of course, the Fernando Tatis thing maybe was a cloud. They had Juan Soto, Darvish. They had these guys. I thought they would be better. I still expect them to make a comeback, to be at least maybe pushing for the wild card. I'd be surprised if they have another down season like that, but we'll see how things happen. But with this division, of course, like I said, the Diamondbacks kind of came out of nowhere. You gotta be wary of that. So it's gonna be tough for everybody else. I think everybody else is pretty much gonna beat each other up. The San Francisco Giants, you see what they just did. They just signed Blake Snell, which is a huge pickup for them. And the Giants always just been hovering around. The Colorado Rockies, that's the only team. And shout out to my bro. Good vibes. Haven't seen or heard from him in a while. Hopefully he's doing well. But that's his team, the Colorado Rockies. Like I said, the Rockies, they just, they gotta, I think they gotta focus on offense. I don't know what they're doing, how the farm system is and stuff like that. I ain't dug deep into the Rockies, but they're gonna have to have a strong offensive lineup, because even if you get a good pitcher, he's going to be limited because of the ballpark and everything else. So I think you should focus. I think the Rockies should focus on trying to outscore their opponents, like they did in the previous years. And like I said, I touched on the Giants a little bit. The Arizona Diamondbacks, like I said, it was really, really a surprise to me. He got all the way to the World Series. The young kid that stabilized that lineup. The name not coming to me right now. That's why I don't have my notes. But Diamondbacks, you gotta take them serious. You gotta take them serious. So this the whole division. Like, other than the Rockies, any other, the Dodgers is sort of in their own class, at least in the regular season. So it's gonna be between the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Padres, who gets the best of who with those three teams. I think was it 6 teams, right? So you can have 4. Yeah, you can have 4 teams from the same division. You got 3 wild cards. So it's possible the way the National League. Well, I don't know, because the East, like I said, the National League East is strong. The Central has some good teams. I think the Central, like if you had to rank the National League, I would say I would give the nod to the West right now. I think the West is a little deeper than the East, because I don't know what the Mets going to be in the East. The Marlins, even though the Marlins made a step forward last year, but only teams I'm really sure about the East is the Braves and the Phillies. The other teams you still don't know what you're going to get from, and Washington, of course, sort of the same class as Colorado. So I would say I would go West, East, then Central. So, but it's possible that 3 teams, at least 3 teams, could come out to be playoff teams. Of course, the division winner and 2 wild cards. We'll see. But this will be an interesting division to watch. But like I said, I think the Dodgers is going to do what they normally do, win 100 games, and then in the playoffs we'll have to see. But I think they're clearly the best team in this division. Like I said, the regular season, the playoffs are so shrunken down You go down 2-0 in the series. That's it, especially the early going, because uh, with the wild card series at best of three, and um, the divisional round is what, five, best of five. So you don't get the best of seven to the pennant, to the championship series and the World Series. Um, so that's why pretty much you got to go in. That's why the Rangers, what they did was kind of impressive, because they kind of limped into the postseason. They almost missed the playoffs entirely, but they lost the division in the last basically week and a half of the season, but then turned it on in the playoffs, beat the Orioles, which is another team I follow. I'm from Baltimore. Orioles was a 100-win team. I think the Orioles is going to be a lot better this year. They young talent is off the chain. You see what they've been doing in spring training. Like I said, spring training is spring training, but when you play well like that, like I said, half those guys not even gonna make the roster. So so if, like I said, if some of your stars get hurt, you can bring up those guys and keep it moving. But yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is this year probably don't do a video, but I'm probably just do my American League side and National League side. Then I get my World Series prediction and maybe award winners and stuff like that. But I post every day, slow, spoon feed it. All right, so that's it with the baseball. Let's move on to the NBA. We're gonna talk about Anthony Edwards in a second. But let's just talk about the Eastern Conference. Boston Celtics already clinched the playoff spot. So have Milwaukee, Knicks, and Cavs, but they still can fall to 7 or under, but they at least would be top 10. But like I said, the East 10 is set. Like we got at the bottom, we got the Hawks, the Bulls, in that play-in area, Miami Heat. I think it's Indiana, and then from 6 to 1 is I know number 1 is Boston, 2 Milwaukee, 3 Cleveland, 4 New York. Then you got Philly at 6, so we missing somebody. Orlando Magic, who's been playing very, very well of late, quietly too. Probably have to talk about them soon, do some research on the Magic, because they've definitely didn't expect them to be this high in the East this season. But in the East, like I said, it's really about Boston. Like I said, I put the Bucks. Like I said, I know that they've been up and down all year, but the Bucks and the Celtics, to me, is in their own class. And then you got the group with Cleveland, New York, Orlando, Indiana. Philly is an interesting case. Like I said, depends on how Embiid comes back, because they're gonna be in the lower half of the East. But they could get, as long as they avoid Boston or Milwaukee, I think the Sixers could still get to the conference semis. But it's gonna be tough. If it got to be Boston, that means they would have to fall into the play-in. As long as they stay out the play-in, I think Philadelphia won't be fazed by Cleveland or the Knicks, if that's who they have to face in the first round. So yeah, that's it pretty much. Like I said, I think the Celtics right now got to be the favorites. Like I said, people worry about their bench. I think, like I said, they bench can score now. Defensively, they probably take a step back when the bench come in, but the bench, like Hauser and those guys come out, shoot the threes. Jaylen Brown has been having a monster year. He's not off the bench, but I'm just saying Boston is deep. It's Porzingis. I think the question mark is definitely Porzingis. Can he really be healthy? This is his first time playing some meaningful basketball. So we'll see how he responds. But the rest of the Celtics, I think, are fine. Like I said, the Bucks, you can't count them out, even though they've had disappointing postseasons as well of late. And the Doc Rivers thing does, as we said the last couple of weeks, that make you worry about the Bucks. But just off pure talent, Dame don't disappear in big moments. Chris Middleton, I seen him Sunday play against Phoenix without Giannis. He looks like he's almost back to where he need to be. Those three guys And then Bobby Portis. Shout out to Bobby Portis. He's a monster. He plays he's a big key cog. Like when they went on their championship run, he was the one that made the big shots, made the big rebounds. If he comes to play and he's motivated, he's definitely a factor, an X factor, somebody you don't really focus on. But like I said, he had 30 points in that game Sunday. If you get a consistent Bobby Portis, that's where Milwaukee could compete with a Boston or anybody else. So big kudos to Bobby Portis. Brook Lopez, quietly, I think he's underappreciated in certain ways, but he's a good anchor in the inside. He can shoot the three as well, spread the floor. He get big rebounds. So I think those two guys, if you get what the max out of those two, Dame gonna be Dame, Giannis gonna be Giannis, and if Chris Middleton is healthy, he's gonna be that third guy that you need to score. So I think the Bucks are fine. I think a lot of people worry. I'm more worried about the Doc Rivers part of it. But as far as the team itself, I expect them to be there. I think it's really collision course between them and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Philadelphia could be a monkey wrench. I think everybody else just don't have enough. Orlando's young and they need Pacero. He's developing, but he's not on that level yet. The Knicks. Injuries, of course, no Julius Randle, Obi, he's been big for them, but he's been hurt. Jalen Brunson's been unbelievable. Gotta just give Jalen Brunson his credit. To me, the Knicks definitely didn't overpay for him. It seemed like it at first, like when it first happened, but he's been a legit star for them. So I'm not worried about him at all. I wish the Mavs would have kept him with Luka. Luka like I do, but Kyrie has been great. We're going to talk about the Western Conference. Actually, right now, there's no point of, because the East, like I said, the East is really Boston and Milwaukee, and that's it. Over in the West, the T-Wolves and Nuggets and the Thunder, basically a three-way tie. I think the loss for Minnesota dropped them third, and I think OKC and Denver is tied as of right now. LA Clippers, it's in that top four. Then we got who? Is it? Here in the West. I know the bottom half is Kings, Lakers, and Warriors. They 9 and 10. Here I'm missing some teams. Phoenix, I think Phoenix is 8th. Yeah. So it's who I say was 7th? Yeah, Sacramento, Phoenix. Then it's Lakers, Warriors. So I said Clippers, they 4th, right? So who are we missing? Who are we missing in the West? Let's think, guys. Who else? Drawing a blank right now. But I get there. But let's just talk about the top of the West right now. Denver Nuggets started to look like they were reaching their championship form again. The way they beat Minnesota last night, fourth quarters. Joker, he had a big offensive game, 35 points. But it was no Rudy Gobert, so I think that's not surprising that he had a big offensive game. KCP is starting to warm up. Jamal Murray has been huge for the Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr., I think he started to take that next step. As I said, he had to. He's definitely keep the Nuggets competitive if he develops what we think he's going to be. But the Nuggets, to me, I'm starting to put them, like I say, well, if they play Boston, I still would take Boston. But the way they look, man, I don't know. I think starting to lean towards Denver, definitely a solid coming out the Western Conference. Minnesota, OKC, like I said, they're young. The Thunder, like I said, still been winning games sort of quietly. SGG still should be an MVP candidate, but it's going to depend on the development of Chet Holmgren and Dort and Josh Giddey, those guys, can they stay consistent? I think they're capable of beating anyone, but experience matters in the NBA, so I think that's what's going to be a telltale factor. Now let's get to the Timberwolves because I want to talk about Anthony Edwards. Of course, the Wolves, they got injuries. I knew Karl Anthony Towns was hurt, but I didn't know Gobert was nursing a rib injury. He didn't play last night. But after that was another big game, 30 points. He's been carrying the Wolves. I got to give him credit. I still think we should, tamper down our expectations a little bit. But I guess Michael Jordan not going to make it easier because he came out and said he does remind him of himself when he was younger. And Michael Jordan, in his early 20s, he dominated the NBA. He didn't win, but he was averaging 30, almost 40 points a game back in that era, when it was, hand checking and everything else. And they can rough you up if you come in the lane and all that, but he still averaged that many points. Anthony Edwards' game is similar, I would say, like far as above the rim. His offensive shot has gotten a lot better. I just can't put him in a class with Mike yet. I just can't. I mean, I get it. I get why people are saying it. But this is like he's been doing Michael Jordan like stuff the last couple of days. So I give him kudos, but I still think we need to relax a little bit on him. And we'll see what playoff time comes. But he's going to have to be the number one guy, especially now that Karl Anthony Towns will just be coming back off an injury. And pretty much nobody else is a consistent scorer. So he's going to have to be pretty much almost like the number one option for the Wolves. And if he can get them, even if they get, let's say, they finish at least top 3, which I think they will. First round, you get a Phoenix or somebody like that, and he can carry them over that. If he could get them out the first round, we could revisit this conversation. But for right now, he's a great player, but I think we need to slow down on him a little bit. Who else in the West? We're going to get to the Warriors and the Lakers because people still holding on belief for those two teams. Even I am to an extent. But we got to find out who the other teams is. Clippers would be 4. We already talked about Minnesota, Denver, and OKC. Phoenix is on the outside. Like I said, Phoenix is 8th, though. Sacramento, 7th. 6 and 5. That's who I'm drawing blank on. Let's see. It's gonna come to me. Because we know it's not the Blazers and the Spurs. They're way out. Memphis is way out. The Jazz is right on that. Jazz and Houston, they knocking on the door, trying to get into the 10th spot. So we're missing some teams. New Orleans, yeah, the New Orleans Pelicans. I just talked about them last week. So we got the Pelicans there up there in that area. They still been winning. Zion been playing very, very well of late. So who else? We missing one more team. Dang it. One more team. Yeah, we missing somebody, but I apologize in advance, whoever that team is. That's why I wish I'd had my notes here. But the West, like I said, it's to me it's Denver, and I'm not sure if they have a legit challenger. Honestly, now that's what I'm starting to see now. I don't think any of these teams will be able to play with the Nuggets in a 7-game series. All right, let's talk about the Lakers real quick and the Warriors. Lakers are right now 9th. We got to start taking these teams for who they are. Of course, if they both stay at 9 and 10, one of them going to eliminate themselves because they got to play each other, and the loser will be done. And then depending on who falls to the 8th spot, they have to win another game. I thought maybe they could move up to the 8th, 7th spot. No, they definitely ain't going to make it to the 6th spot. We got about 15 games. I think everybody mostly got 15 games left. I don't say they done. Like I said, if any of those two can get in, if they get Minnesota or OKC, I get them a little bit of a shot because of experience, but it wouldn't shock me if they just get swept out of the playoffs, or they lose at 5 games or something like that, or take it to 7. I just don't think. The Warriors, like I said, I was saying when they traded, when they didn't make, when they couldn't make a move to get another legit player. Don't even have to be a star. Just somebody that you can rely on. Even though Kuminga has been great this season, as far as stepping up into that role. Andrew Wiggins have issues, so I'm not going to really touch on them. I don't know what the issues are, so I'm going to assume that's why he hasn't been. Well, that's part of the reason why he ain't been playing. But like I said, he hasn't been a consistent player for a while. For seasons. So the year they won the championship, he played well, but really since then, even before then, when he was in Minnesota and Cleveland and everywhere else he was, he didn't play well. He wasn't consistent. So, yeah. So, unless they get one of those two teams in the first round, they can be at 8. They get, maybe Minnesota or OKC get that 1 seed. If they have to play Denver, don't see it happening. I don't think they're going to beat Denver. If they even make it. Like I said, they both could be eliminated through the playoff round. So, the play-in round. So, Warriors, like I said, it's just too much stuff, too much pressure on Steph. And Lakers, they're just too inconsistent. Like LeBron doing what he do. Anthony Davis, like I said, I don't put it's not his fault this time. He's been playing well overall this season. It's just the other players around him haven't been consistent. So that's how I feel about those two teams. Kings, Suns, all those teams sort of sleepwalking. Like I said, we missing the team. Pelicans, I put them all in the same group. Who are they going to match up against? No matter, who they match up against. So, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so upset. I'm forgetting about a team. I said the Warriors, yeah. Now I'm just trying to think. I'm using my mental map now. Try to see if I can think of the other team. But we missed one Western Conference team. We touched on the rest of them. We missing one. Yeah, we missing one. But apologize to that team. Don't be mad at me if it's your team that I forgot. But that's it with the NBA. We're gonna move on to the NFL now. Of course, free agency still going on. Some other trades, like some small trades that went over my head. The Keenan Allen to Chicago. Jerry Jeudy, he gets his extension for the Browns. Still some players out there, OBJ and other players. But the Justin Fields trade finally happened. That happened, what was it? I want to say Friday. I think it was Friday night or Saturday night. He goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. My overall thought on it, I think it's a good place for him. We'll see who they will have start, though. I think they're going to have to start with Russ because, he's there for just a year. So if he's going to be the stopgap, I think they need to know. So I think basically he's going to at least start the season. That's how I see it happening. But then if he struggles, I think they'll pull him and put Fields in there. I think that's how it might go. But if Russ plays well, Pittsburgh, win games with him, I think they'll stick with Russ. And Fields will probably sit a year unless Russ get hurt or something. And then they'll probably let Russ go and then probably see, depends on how they feel about Fields, because Fields really on a 1 year deal as well. You definitely don't think they'd pick up that option, that 5th-year option. So both of these guys, they are 1 year. So depends on who they like. I think that's who, the Steelers will go with their future order. If they just, which I don't see happening, Pittsburgh just fought, just having a horrible year and win 2 or 3 games and be a top, being that top 5. So then they'll probably just draft a quarterback and do it that way. But I think that's how I see it happening. They're gonna be competitive. Me as a Ravens fan, the whole division is rough. Cleveland, the moves that they made. Cincinnati will be healthy next year. And then you see what Pittsburgh's doing, so it's going to be tough. That's why, I'm gonna keep saying, our window ain't closed, but the opportunity, it was a good opportunity last season to finish the job. So, but like I said, I'm gonna go back to my opinion. I thought the Bears should have kept Fields and maybe, like I said, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they could have made the team a little bit better. But they filled some of the receiver spots. Like I said, they got Keenan Allen, and DJ Moore is still there. So there's 2 viable receivers. They got a decent tight end. So they probably going to draft Caleb Williams. At least that's what's starting to really be a sure thing. And then they're going to... but in the NFC, I think in that division, though, now we don't know what Minnesota's going to do. Minnesota got to find a quarterback, but if they do, they're going to be formidable. Jordan Love proved that he can play in this league, the Packers. We'll see how Josh Jacobs fits there. I think they should have kept Aaron Jones. I just think he fits there. Just seemed like he was a Packer. Surprised they let him walk. But I think the team in the division is still Detroit, but they got to improve on their defense. So we'll see how this division lasts. So, but I think the Bears should have went that route. Maybe if you could have traded down a spot or 2, because I think New England, New England's 3, and Washington is 2. So I think both of those teams are definitely, now with New England, get rid of their quarterbacks, Mac Jones, and everybody. So they need a quarterback. So they definitely be, drafting a quarterback. Washington as well. So you could maybe trade the 1 to them and get some draft capital. Stay in the top 5. Trade the 1 for the 3, and maybe a second rounder or something. Draft Harrison, and still could have Fields, but now that they did what they did, they definitely probably draft Williams from USC. And like I said, Bears not bad talent wise. They improved the receiving core, so can't argue this way either. And then you get you don't have to worry about the 5th-year option with Fields. You don't have to worry about none of that stuff. Williams will be on another rookie contract. He's expected to be a franchise quarterback, so saving a little bit of money. So you could probably add, more veteran pieces around him. So, either route is not wrong, but I like Fields, so I would have kept Fields and maybe drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. That's how I would have did it for the Bears. But like I said, we got draft, draft news starting to come out, so we'll have a lot of NFL news throughout the coming weeks. But that was the bomb show. I thought it wasn't going to happen too close to the draft. Once, because I thought Pittsburgh was pretty much wasn't a spot for him to go anymore. Then Atlanta got Kirk Cousins, so all the players, Minnesota, they wasn't going to trade him in the division. That's why I eliminated Minnesota anyway. But I would say New Orleans now. I like Derek Carr, but I would say New Orleans need a younger quarterback. Then Tampa committed to Baker, so all the spots with quarterbacks. Like I said, New England. Like I said, or if he was going to trade, he could have traded to New England, or Washington. But I think those teams rather start younger, because Justice Field's still young. So, but yeah, I thought it was going to drag out, but it got done. And they said, well, some people agree or disagree with this. The Bears pretty much said Pittsburgh was a good place for him. They ain't want to trade him to somewhere where he ain't have a real opportunity. Kudos for the Bears if it's true. Some people are saying, well, first, if they had a better offer, they should have went ahead and traded him anywhere, no matter what. Not thinking about him. But I think they was trying to be fair to him because, it had been rough for him the first couple of years. All the different coordinators and coaches and stuff. So they tried to be fair with him. So I think I think some teams try to do that, but overall, they're going to do what they need to do for their team. So it works out for everybody. Like I said, they still got the #1 pick, so they draft their quarterback. Steelers, like I said, they quarterback room is a lot stronger. But surprised about Kenny Pickett, though. I didn't see him as being. I didn't know he was upset about in the last season, or when they got Russ. So that made room for Justin Fields as well because they traded him to Philadelphia, which he's not going to start there. Not over Jalen Hurts. So so we'll see what happens with Kenny and the rest of this offseason. We got a long way to go. So I can't wait for the draft. We have more NFL news to talk about. But like I said, we'll start talking about baseball because that's warming up. We'll start talking about the NBA as well as the playoffs are coming. All right. Well, that was all I had. I don't have my notes, so I sort of just freelanced today. I'm gonna touch on the NCAA tournament a little bit before I go. Like I said, I'm not gonna predict because I really ain't followed college basketball this year. I looked at some of the brackets. I didn't know that the UConn men was a 31-3. But I guess because they they still a 1 seed, but I guess because they was in the Big East, or whatever conference they in. I don't think they got a lot of flack this year. Like actually, being a contender. I just keep hearing about Houston and Purdue. But honestly, I can predict this. I don't think no #1 seed gonna win the tournament this year. I think it's just now that is the way the college basketball is. I just think they might go far, but I think they get upset before they get to the Final Four. I look at like between the 3 and the 5 seeds. I think one of those teams will win it, but I don't know who or what. But if I had to choose one of the 1 seeds, I've seen Houston play. I like how they play team basketball. Just something missing about them. Purdue can do it because of the big center that they got. He can probably carry them all the way there. I ain't really seen UConn play. And North Carolina's the other 1 seed. I would just go with North Carolina because I know how the ACC is. But I honestly think all 4 of those teams will lose eventually. I think it'd probably be, like say, between the 2 and the 5 winning the whole thing. But this is when I start paying attention to it. So I start watching the games. Well, we got 2 more first 4 games today. And then we got the big tournament on Thursday, starting at noon. So we'll keep an eye on that, throughout the tournament. But that's it for me this week. We're doing a premiere again, so thank you guys for being patient. Thank you guys for the new subscribers. We sort of stuck at 279. I try to do some more shorts today. Y'all been really liking the shorts. I'm doing a lot of Mario 3 shorts now. I try to mix another game in there just to make give you something different. As far as the channel, like I said, like I said, we like I said, eventually, slowly but surely, we'll be back on the PlayStation realm. Of course, we're not gonna leave that behind. Unfortunate about Crash Team Rumble. I heard that it pretty much get shut down. They're not gonna be adding new stuff to it too much. So, but I'm gonna catch up on that eventually. And other little projects that I started on Sony on the PlayStation. I'm gonna try to get a 5 within the next few months to play some games that I was interested in. Like I said, next week, not sure, but right now I'm probably not going to do a show. I work all next week. Only time I can really stream or do a video is probably Wednesdays and Thursdays. Especially when I'm home. They're the only 2 days. Maybe Friday, sometime Fridays, but Fridays are no-go as well. Weekends is a no-go for now. So I might not be able to do a show next week. I might just do a little short or something just to check in, but probably gonna take a week off, come back the next week, depending on how my schedule is. So, but stay tuned. Like I said, I get my baseball predictions on social media, probably beginning of next week. Start putting out posts on that. As far as the channel, also, like I said, just thank you guys. Like I said, I've been trying to do shout outs, but I ain't get a lot of new subscribers this week. But my YouTube family, Dollar the Hologram, the Miss Selena, my boy Caper, my buddy B. Hopefully you get to watch the playback. Hopefully all of y'all get to watch the playback. Like I said, just other bigger channels like Blue Television Games I follow a lot. Far as on this, far as the post video games, he does a lot of Mario stuff. Go check him out. But just thank you guys for the support. Like I said, the goal was 500 by May 1st. We got time, but March is already pretty much done, so we don't got as much time as we think. But hopefully, when I put out some more content, we get another push. But then hopefully by May, that's why hopefully I'm back into the PlayStation, doing my PlayStation stuff. But that's it for you guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, a little different today. I'll be in the chat. I probably was in the chat. So if you do chat something during the video, I'll definitely go respond. Definitely hit me up on the community wall. Keep an eye on the community wall. All my socials is in my description here on the channel. So you can find me on IG is pretty much the best bet. If you want to really reach out to me, IG is probably the best bet. Facebook, I don't really do, Facebook I'm sort of fair weather on. But Instagram, you definitely can reach me there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Troy West. This is episode 262 of the Silent Sports Video Blog. I'll see you guys maybe in 2 weeks, or maybe you'll see me on a short or something. Thank you guys. Peace and love. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe out there.